Hello YouTube. A new thing I want to talk about with the Stereo Realist Camera. I learned very quickly that this camera was built for very slow films. The literature that I've seen only specifies 10 speed, ASA 10 or ISO, depending on how old you are. So it's a ISO of 10, which is, I haven't seen 10 speed film ever. I suppose it's probably available somewhere, but I have no idea where. I've got 100 speed film in this right now, and I discovered that it has, the camera with modern film has significant limitations. This is a 3.5 lens, f3.5 lens, with a maximum shutter speed of 1/150th of a second. So that gives you a real problem when you're working with, well, 100 speed, 200, or 400. So what I've had to do is come up with a way of putting neutral density filters on these two lenses. And the system that I've come up with, and again, this is not track tested yet, was I discovered that bottle caps, these are from, this is off of Barks root beer bottle, and I suppose probably most soda companies use similar caps. The nice thing about the Coke caps, some of them on the larger bottles, is they have, I'm going to try and show you this. If you can see, it has a ridge running along the inside right there. I don't have a flashlight to shine in there, but if you can see that, these caps, here's another one, right along the cut line is a ridge, and it's different from other bottle caps. In any event, the diameter of that ridge in there, which is raised, it's sharp, and creates a ring around the outside that the mouth of the bottle can fit right up into. And now, the diameter of that ridge just happens to be the exact diameter of the lenses, the outer lens ring. So what I did was I took out one of my old knives. This happens to be, I think they're called, oh, I forget what they're called. The blades were made by Olfa, I think. I used them for wallpapering way back when. Anyhow, what I did was, and you should of course work with gloves, because if you don't, you're going to get a boo-boo. But for demonstrative purposes, without interfering with that ridge in there, I hope you can see that, without cutting into that ridge, you want to hollow out the cap. Now, I'm not going to go through the entire process of this. I'm just going to show you what I did. So I'm cutting out that middle part without without interfering with that inner ridge. So working very slowly and carefully. This is one of the ones I did first. I hollowed it out right up to, but not including, that raised ridge on the inside of the cap. So once you get to that point, you'll discover that you can take that hollowed out cap and press it right over the lens ring. Now for the actual use, I've picked out black caps. just because it seems like a better idea. I've already done a pair, so this is for demonstrative purposes. So, having hollowed out your cap to the right size, you then want to grab a neutral density filter. This happens to be a 3-step neutral density filter from Neewer. This came as a kit. It had a 1, 2, and 3 stop neutral density filter, and with it comes in a case. It has a microfiber lens cleaning cloth thing. It was like $7 on Amazon, I think is where I got it. Having done that, you're going to want to trace, just very basically, trace the cap onto the lens. Oops, without slipping. Trace this so you have a basic line to work with. That I'm pretty sure you can't see. But anyhow, you get the idea. And then you take, this is a laminate knife. I used these way back when I was making countertops, and they were used to cut Wilson Art and Mason. I forget what the other laminate company was, but it cuts countertop material. And you can score this stuff like this. And then snap it. And you're going to cut it in between the 2 circles. And then snap it again, and that gives you your 2 good pieces of of neutral density filter to begin trimming down to fit just inside the edge here. There's a lip that is just about the right depth to set in a circle. So you've hollowed out your bottle cap, you've cut your neutral density filter material, and you can take, initially I used side cutters. I've got end cut nippers now. And you start cutting away the material. And again, I'm not going to go through the whole process because it's pretty self-explanatory. So you want to cut right up to and include that. And then you can do some of the finishing with a smaller set. Dip off some of the edges. And you're going to need to do some fitting. And once you get the circle cut out, you're going to need to do some fitting because you're going to need to shrink that down a little bit more. When you get to a certain point, you're going to be just a little bit bigger, or about the same size actually, as the cap. And you can take a file and holding the lens or the filter, a piece of microfiber lens cleaning cloth so you don't scratch it up. Start to round it more completely, working it around like that. And for any really tough spots, just work it this way, and the goal being to end up with a lens or a filter just about that size that will, this is one of the ones that I actually finished and I will be using. So just put the 2 together. There's a slight lip inside here and that filter fits down into that lip like so. And there you have it. And what I will do, I'm not going to do it right now, but when I'm ready to finish this thing off, after I've cleaned it up and made sure it's the way I want it, take some more of this Super X glue and put a few dots on there, then press the neutral density filter back into the cap, and then I can, when I've got two of them, I can put them on the lenses of the stereo camera, and that'll cut down the amount of light reaching the film. That'll give me some more versatility with film speed relative to the limitations of the camera. As I said, the camera has a pretty slow shutter, and it was intended for very slow film. So something you have to work it out somehow, so you have that versatility. And so hopefully in another week or so I'll be able to take that camera out and give it a test run, because I'm very excited about this. I bought myself some chemicals and I'm going to develop this film as soon as practical. So until next time.